digestive system?
The three phases of secretion of gastric juices.
Wow, very good. And do other people remember? Have you guys gone through the recording and the slides?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So if you guys having any doubt regarding the last classes, then we will have the doubt after the class. Now we will proceed. Hmm, just a minute. I had shared the slides of digestive system completely, right?
Now,
Okay.
whether it was complete or not, but we got the slide deck for the digestive.
Yes, please repeat.
I did not check whether it's complete or not, but I just saw that the slide deck for digestive system was shared in the group.
Okay, okay, no problem. So we will proceed to next part today. As we have studied the parts of alimentary canal, means we are going to complete it today. The parts of digestive system is including alimentary canal and accessory glands, and the accessory glands we have um, this liver, gallbladder. We will discuss all these, and we have went through stomach and the three phases of secretion of gastric juice. Now, yeah, one important line is here. I should rotate. Digestion time of nutrients. The macronutrients which we consume are carbohydrates, protein, and fat. So, digestion time means how much time consumes by digestion. Means carbohydrates consume less time than protein, and protein consume less time than fat for digestion. Means fat takes more time for digestion than carbohydrate and protein, and protein takes a bit more time for digestion than carbohydrates. That is why if you want to be, or if you want to take more calorie, then take fat. Now we will proceed to next part of our alimentary canal, that is small intestine. It is continuous with stomach at pyloric sphincter, at leads into large intestine at ileocecal wall. Means our alimentary canal is continuing from our esophagus, then stomach, then after stomach it is continuing to small intestine, then continuing to large intestine, then rectum and anus. This is the pathway. So after stomach, the small intestine is depicted by the separation of sphincter. Means the separation is done by sphincter, that is pyloric sphincter, which is present between stomach and this small intestine. So the length of small intestine is 5 meter, diameter is 2.5 semi. So you will notice after the class that small intestine is more lengthy than large intestine. But why it is called small? and large intestine is shorter than small intestine, then also it is called large. Why it is so?
Ma'am, though the length is longer, but the diameter might be smaller.
Yeah, very good. So the diameter of small intestine is less than diameter of large intestine. Diameter of large intestine is more. So lies in abdominal cavity surrounded by large intestine. Digestion of food complete in small intestine and absorption starts. I have already told you that though the digestion is starting from buccal cavity or stomach, some nutrients start digestion process of some nutrients start from buccal cavity. Some nutrients start digesting from stomach, but all those digestions come to means all the digestions finish or completes at small intestine only, and then absorption takes place in small intestine. Now small intestine is divided into three parts, that is duodenum, jejunum and ileum. Now duodenum is 25 semi long and it is almost C-shaped around the head of pancreas. Duodenum is the smallest part of small intestine. It is almost C-shaped around the head of pancreas. The common bile duct carries bile from liver and pancreatic duct carries digestive enzyme from pancreas enter duodenum. In this duodenum part only, this bile juice is coming through the common bile duct. Next is jejunum. It is the middle part of small intestine, middle section, that is 2 meter long. And the next part is ileum, that is about 3 meter long, ends at ileocecal valve. First part of large intestine means the ileum part is connected to, means it is all these are extension of the same canal only. All these are extension of this alimentary canal only. One canal is extending from our mouth to anus. So after this small intestine or the last part of small intestine, that is ileum, it is extending to large intestine or the starting part of large intestine, that is cecum. Okay, so the meeting point of ileum and cecum is known as ileocecal point, or there is a valve known as ileocecal valve, and there is also a sphincter known as ileocecal sphincter, right? Now the functions of small intestine are absorption of nutrients, complete chemical digestion of carbohydrates, fats and protein in villi. Now these villi having a very important role in digestion and in absorption, because these villi are uh, highly, means they are increasing the surface area of small intestine into 600 times. Means if we only
I
having
was
the,
not clear.
yes
Ma'am, your
please.
voice is breaking. Your
Oh,
voice is breaking. Can you please repeat that?
now is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let me go outside.
From willies, like what you explained about willies.
Yeah, so I was telling that these villis are finger-like projection in the small intestine, and these villis are the small intestine is folded to यहाँ पे आवाज आने लगी. Are you guys getting disturbed by any outside noise?
No, no, ma'am.
Okay, no problem. So our small intestine is full, means the lining or surface area of small intestine or the inner surface of small intestine is highly folded, and this surface area containing villis too. Villis are the small finger-like projections, and these villis, on the top of these villis, more folded surface is present. So the surface of small intestine is increasing into 600 times because of this folding and these villis. Okay, if we having only the normal canal or the normal lining like other parts of alimentary canal, then the surface area is being normal. But this folding nature of small intestine and this villi is increasing the surface area of small intestine into 600 times. Okay.
Ma'am, is it 6,000 or 600?
Is it 6,000? I may have to check this.
Lily,
Are you
no,
sure?
what you said, is it 6,000 or 600?
No, I have told you 600. I will check once more.
Okay.
Okay. So, this is the structure. You can see here completely. This yellowish part, you can see in this small intestine. This yellowish part is duodenum. And the middle part, that is blue colored, that is jejunum. And this pinkish violet, stop this, don't do this. We will enjoy it. Okay, this yellow colored small intestine is duodenum, and the blue colored small intestine in the middle, it is jejunum, and this pinkish violet small intestine at the last or at the bottom is ileum. Now tell me, ileum, the term ileum we have been also studied earlier. Where was it?
It's a part of the hip bone.
Yeah, very good. We have been studying ileum from skeletal system too. So in skeletal system, one hip bone was there, that was known as ileum. Now part of small intestine or the last part of small intestine is to ileum. Okay. So duodenum, jejunum, and ileum are the parts of small intestine. You can see here, duodenum is the smallest part. Jejunum is the most or highly vascular part of small intestine, and last part is ileum. Okay. Now moving to large intestine. Okay. Large intestine is about 1.5 meter long. Diameter is 6.5 cm. Okay, its length is 1.5 meter and diameter is 6.5 cm. Begins at cecum and the terminate at rectum and anal canal. You can see here. No, you should move to next picture. Yeah, here. You can see here the small intestine ends and the large intestine starts here. On screen you can see at the left side the appendix is here and cecum is leveled here, and ileum you can see is leveled here. Ileum is the last part of small intestine and it is continuing or extending from cecum. And you can see here one organ, that is, or vestigial organ in human, that is appendix. appendix is known as vestigial organ in modern science because modern science cannot find any usefulness of appendix in today's life, but some other means our ancient science or some other alternative therapies do not say the same. They accept that appendix still have some importance in human physiology, but modern science cannot find any importance of appendix. So sometimes this inflammation in appendix occurs, and this inflammation is known as appendicitis, and then doctors have to remove this appendix from human body, or doctors have to operate, and then removing of appendix occurs, and that is known as appendectomy, right? So from this part, our large intestine is starting after ileum, and then it is having ascending colon. In this screen you can see at the left side it is ascending colon, means from bottom it is rising up, but in human body, if you understand the concept of the picture of anatomy and physiology, that when the picture is like this, means the left side of picture is portrayed in human life as right side, right? So this ascending colon is at the right side of human body. Ascending colon is present at the right side of human body. Then transverse colon means at the middle of this colon, the large intestine, also known as colon. So after ascending colon, transverse colon means it is transverse in position. Then after transverse colon, you can see the descending colon. It is coming up to down. Then sigmoid colon, after descending colon, it is again it is taking curvature. Then this curvature portion is known as sigmoid colon, and then rectum, and then anus. This is the end of total alimentary canal. Okay, now so our large intestine is about 1.5 meter long and diameter is 6.5 semi, begins at cecum and terminate at rectum and anal canal. Cecum, the first part, dilated region below ileocecal valve. The colon is divided into 4 parts: ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon, sigmoid colon, then rectum. Rectum is dilated part leads from sigmoid colon to anal canal. Okay, rectum is dilated part leads from sigmoid colon to anal canal. You can see here in the picture. Rectum is leveled here. After sigmoid colon, the dilated part to anal canal is rectum. Here, stool stores. Rectum stores the stool. Then anal canal. Anal canal, it is short passage about 3.8 semi long. Now, two sphincter muscles control anus: internal sphincter and external sphincter. And now the functions of large intestine are: a bit absorption takes place, mass movement of this wastage material, or mass movement of the after absorption of food, the leftover material. Then defecation. Now, till here everything is clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now we will discuss about the activities which are taking place in digestive system. At first, ingestion of food is the primary part of digestion. If we don't take or if we don't consume food, then there is no question of digestion at all, right? So at first, ingestion takes place. It refers to entry of food into alimentary canal through the mouth. We are ingesting food through mouth. There, the food is chewed, mixed with saliva, which contains enzymes that begin break down the carbohydrates in food plus some lipid digestion via lingual lipase. So in mouth, these things are happening. At first, we are consuming food, we are ingesting food to our mouth, then we chew it, then mix with saliva, then some enzymes begin breaking down carbohydrates and some lipids via lingual lipase. Chewing increases the surface area of food and allows an appropriately sized bolus to be produced. Okay, when we chew the food, the surface area of food is increasing by chewing. Then appropriate bolus is produced. Bolus means when our food is mixed with saliva. In mouth, when our food is mixed with saliva, it is known as bolus. Okay. Now, see the picture here. This you can see the striated oval shaped structure, that is bolus or food, that is the bolus, and how bolus is passing through this alimentary canal. This is the movement of peristalsis. Peristalsis is the movement of passing food from means it is the movement of alimentary canal, passing food in the alimentary canal by the movement means peristalsis is the movement by which food passes in alimentary canal. Food leaves the mouth when the tongue and pharyngeal muscles propel it into the esophagus. Now, next is propulsion. This is the act of swallowing, the last voluntary act until defecation is an example of propulsion. Okay, so this is an example of propulsion only, which refers to the movement of food through digestive tract. It includes both the voluntary process of swallowing and involuntary process of peristalsis. Means when we are saying I'm sorry for the outside noises. I'm really sorry. So when we are saying propulsion, that means the voluntary action of swallowing and the involuntary action of peristalsis both. Peristalsis is the action or movement that is involuntary. We can't increase or decrease as per our wish. The movement of peristalsis can't be regulated as per our wish. So it is an involuntary action, but swallowing is the voluntary action. So when we are saying propulsion, then it includes both this involuntary action of peristalsis and the voluntary action of swallowing. Peristalsis consists of sequential alternating waves of contraction and relaxation of alimentary wall which is made up of smooth muscles which act to propel food along. Right? Peristalsis consists of sequential alternative waves of contraction and relaxation of alimentary wall, which is made up of smooth muscles which act to propel food along. Now, the next part is digestion. Digestion include both mechanical and chemical process, right? It is now we will discuss the mechanical process. It includes physical movement to make the food smaller into increasing both surface area and mobility. So when we are chewing food, then we are increasing the surface area and the mobility of food. Obviously, when we are breaking down the food into small particles, the movement of those particles become easier than being a large part of food. It includes, means the mechanical digestion includes mastication or chewing. We masticate the food by chewing it. The mechanical churning of food in stomach creating an acidic soup called chyme. So when the food or the bolus is being acidic, then it is known as chyme, right? Means when we are ingesting food into mouth, then it is mixed with saliva in the mouth, then it is known as bolus. Now when the bolus is being acidic in the stomach, then it is known as chyme. Now moving to chemical digestion. Chemical digestion involves secretion of enzymes through digestive tract. Starting in the mouth, digestive secretions break down chemical bonds that hold particles together, complex food molecules into their chemical building blocks. For example, proteins into separate amino acids. The process is completed in small intestine. Means the digestion process is starting from our mouth and ending it in the small intestine. It involves secretion of enzymes through digestive tract starting from our mouth. Right? Digestive secretions break down chemical bonds and hold particles together. Complex food molecules into their chemical building blocks. For example, means the food molecules like carbohydrate, protein, fat are breaking down, and it is these nutrients or these food particles are breaking down to the simplest form of it, right? Fats and proteins. Proteins break down and they become the simplest form of it as amino acid. Now tell me, uh, if you can answer me, what is the simplest form of fat?
Lipid, ma'am.
Simplest, simplest form of protein is amino acid. Now tell me the simplest form of fat.
With lipid, ma'am.
No, it's not lipid. It is anybody answering? Is anybody listening to me? I'm not getting you all. Means I can only see my screen. Can you guys? Okay.
I have heard about digestive process. They always say proteins break down into amino acids, fats into lipids, something like that. That
The
is what I
simplest
remember.
okay, very good. At least you have tried. So the simplest form of fats are fatty acids and glycerol. Okay. Just like proteins are simplest form of proteins are amino acid, and the simplest form of fats are fatty acid and glycerol. So all the breaking down process and absorption and assimilation is completed in small intestine. Now,
Carbohydrates, ma'am.
yeah.
What did you say for carbohydrates? The simplest form of carbohydrates?
Okay, thank you. I haven't told you, like, right? The simplest form of carbohydrate are starch.
Only starch?
No, then further it is glucose. Carbohydrates are simplified into glucose. Like these. I'm just forgetting. Polysaccharide, then disaccharides, then monosaccharides. Monosaccharides,
All these are the simpler forms of carbohydrates.
yeah, and the most simplest form is monosaccharide, and that is glucose. Poly means many, di means two, and mono means one. So most simpler form is monosaccharide, and glucose is an example of monosaccharide.
Okay.
All this you will study in the diet and nutrition part of this syllabus, I think. So don't worry. Now, moving to absorption of food. Food that has been broken down is of no value of the body unless it enters to bloodstream. Means when the food is getting breaking down and it is not entering to bloodstream, then it is of no use. And that the same thing is happening in case of diabetes patients, right? We are taking glucose and it is breaking down, but we are taking sugar and it is breaking down into glucose, but it is not going to, or it is not accepted by the cells of our body. It is moving to bloodstream too. The glucose is moving to bloodstream too, but the cells are not accepting it. So absorption is a process that when nutrients are entering to bloodstream and its nutrients are put to work. This occurs through the process of absorption, which takes place primarily within the small intestine and large intestine. So absorption is taking part in small intestine and large intestine. And what is absorption? Absorption is the process where the nutrients are entering into bloodstream from small intestine and large intestine. Next is defecation or elimination. The final step, when all the nutrients are being absorbed, then the final step is the fibers and the undigested parts of food. They have to be removed by the body as feces or stool. So this is the process of chemical and mechanical process of digestion. Now, next is structure of pancreas. Pancreas is a very important organ of digestive system and also our endocrine system. So pancreas is at the same time it is uh, endocrine and exocrine both. Means pancreas is an example of both endocrine and exocrine gland. Now we will understand the structure of pancreas. Pancreas is a pale gray gland weighing about 60 grams. right? It is pale gray gland weighing about 60 grams. It is about 12 to 15 semi long. It consists of a broad head, a body, and a narrow tail. It is a leaf like structure. Normally, when we see leaf of any tree like mango tree or any other tree like that, so uh, mm, the pancreas is having a shape of leaf of trees. The head lies in the curve of duodenum. So now tell me, which part of small intestine is named as duodenum?
The first part.
Yes, very good. So it consists of broad head, body, and narrow tail. The head lies in the curve of duodenum. The body behind the stomach, and the tail lies in the front of left kidney. Right? Means at the curvature of small intestine, the head is placed, and the body or the middle part of pancreas is behind the stomach, and the tail lies in front of left kidney. So you can see how the pancreas is being adjusted by our body. It's like being adjusted in the middle of organs. Please adjust me. And you can see here the structure. It is pale gray colored, but it is mentioned here as yellowish. And this is a leaf like structure. In the middle of the pancreas, you can also see very similar structure of leaf, that is pancreatic duct in the middle, in very middle of pancreas. Pancreatic duct that is collecting pancreatic juice, and the juice is sended to small intestine or duodenum. Sorry, duodenum. Okay, now you can see the types of cells present in pancreas shown here. Alpha, beta. Beta cells produce which hormone?
Insulin, ma'am.
Yes, very good. The beta cells of pancreas produce insulin. That is very important because lack of insulin causes diabetes, and diabetic patients have to take insulin regularly. Now, functions of pancreas. Pancreas is both exocrine and endocrine gland. Now, we will see at first how pancreas is exocrine. It consists of large number of lobules, which consist of secretory cells. Each lobule is drained by a tiny duct. These unite eventually to form pancreatic duct, which extends along the whole length of gland and opens into duodenum. Just before entering the duodenum, the pancreatic duct joins the common bile duct to form the hepatopancreatic ampulla of Vater. Means how it is exocrine? It is divided into different lobes or lobules, and the cells of pancreas is secreting pancreatic juice from different types of cells of pancreas, and those juices are collected by pancreatic duct, and um, this pancreatic duct is joining to the major pancreatic duct. Means from each lobule the small ducts are joining to the main major duct, and this major duct is now released to duodenum. Thus this is exocrine. The function of exocrine pancreas is to produce pancreatic juice containing enzyme, some in the form of inactive precursors that digest carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Now, the endocrine pancreas means we will study how pancreas is endocrine. It distributed through the gland are groups of specialized cells called the pancreatic islets or islets of Langerhans. Means some specialized types of cells are present in pancreas that are known as islets of Langerhans. Because this islets of Langerhans was founded by scientist Langerhans, so these islets are known after him. Islets of Langerhans. The islets have no duct, so the hormones diffuse directly into blood. The endocrine pancreas secretes the hormones insulin and glucagon, which are principally concerned with control of blood glucose level. Right? Insulin and glucagon are the hormones that are produced by pancreas, and these hormones are directly released to our bloodstream. That is why it is endocrine pancreas. What happened? क्या हुआ? Wait. ठीक है, मैं आ रही हूँ अभी. So, our pancreas is being endocrine in this way. And these two hormones, insulin and glucagon, are maintaining the blood glucose level in our body. Now, structure of liver. The liver is the largest gland in the body.
A little more about these two hormones.
What do you want to know?
Why are they used?
Why they used means?
What purpose are insulin and glucagon used?
They regulate the blood glucose level in human body. What do you want to know?
Function. There is a particular function of insulin and a different function of glucagon. So I just wanted to revise that part.
I'm not getting you. Please repeat.
Ma'am, there is a difference between glucagon and insulin and the way they bind with the glucose. One increases the sugar levels and one decreases the sugar levels.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that are the different functions of hormones.
Yeah, that if you can explain, that will be helpful at this point because we are talking about pancreas.
Insulin helps in the absorption of blood glucose level. Okay, means our cells are having receptors of insulin. Means if we are having glucose in our bloodstream, but we are not having sufficient amount of insulin, then though we are having sufficient glucose in blood, but we are not having insulin, so our blood cells will not get glucose because insulin acts like the gate pass or ticket. Like if you want to go to a cinema hall to watch a cinema, then you need a ticket, right? So imagine you are blood glucose and the cell is cinema hall. So if you want to enter into cinema hall, if you want to get entry, then you need the ticket. That ticket is insulin. So if you are having sufficient amount of insulin and your blood cells are accepting that, then you will get your cells will get sufficient amount of glucose and you will be energetic throughout the day. But two conditions are there in diabetes. First, if you are not having sufficient amount of insulin, means if your pancreas is not producing sufficient amount of insulin, then the story is ending here only. And the second thing is, if your receptors of cell is dysfunctioned, means if you are having sufficient amount of glucose, sufficient amount of insulin, but the receptor of cell which receives the glucose with insulin, that is dysfunctioned, means the ticket collector is dysfunctioned. So if the ticket collector is dysfunctioned, then if you are having your tickets, then also you are not getting entry. So in that case, our body cells are not getting glucose. So two conditions are there. If our body is not producing sufficient amount of insulin, second condition is if body cell receptor is dysfunctioned, right? So insulin is having this function. If insulin is sufficient, then our blood glucose will be regulated in this way. And I'm missing at this point, I'm not actually remembering the function of glucagon. I think glucagon increases the blood glucose level. I'm not getting
Yes, ma'am. It
exactly.
increases the blood glucose level. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
but the
some.
detailed function I'm not remembering at this point exactly.
Yeah, we can do this tomorrow, ma'am.
Okay, so I think this is enough for today. Something more. Yeah, we will have the rest for tomorrow. So, any doubts, any confusions till now?
Oh, ma'am.
I think we should conclude the class because you are having the next class, right? Okay. So, sit comfortably. Close your eyes, upright your spine, adapt Namaskar Mudra in front of your chest, and repeat the prayer. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामया, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्. Rub your palms. Put those palms on your facial muscles. Feel the warmth. Feel the energy. And be revitalized. And open your eyes with a smile. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. Acha, Geeta ji, are you there? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
You just left the meeting because it is recorded one. I think 5 to 6. You just left. Again, I will join. Okay. Anita ji, you also left.
Okay, ma'am.